Hello and welcome. This video is brought to you by thestreamingadvisor.com. Tailor your entertainment with streaming. We're going to take a look at the new Hulu app. It has updated recently. First thing we're going to do before we do that is show you what you need to do to make sure you can get it. What you have to do is go down to the systems and you just want to make sure that you're up to date. We did an update very, very recently, like a couple of minutes ago, so you'll see that it'll say that. But you go here to where it says System Update and you check now. But you see, we last checked at 2:46. This video started recording at 2:53. So we're good. And we're also going to just double check the Hulu app itself and make sure that it is up to date. So we're going to go back to the home screen. We're going to select Hulu and press the star button. When you do that, this menu comes up and you can check for an update. And it's all up to date. So we're going to go ahead and open that up and take a look at what we have to see. And here we are. It's about to load. There we go. And here it is. You see that the profiles are the same as they ever were. If you would like to add a new profile, you can do so right here by selecting a name, selecting whether it's kids or adults, and then putting in the information as far as date and gender. It's not going to change that much about what you see, but it's kind of like Hulu just wants the information as to, who's watching. And here it is. And you see already, right from the start, that on the top of the app, it's kind of a cleaner feel. It's a much cleaner feel. There are not two rows of menus on the top anymore. And that was the case. There was, like My Stuff and My Hub and this, that, and the other. It was all on the top, plus a whole selection of TV and things at the bottom. But what they've done here is kind of broken it down. You see this section, Hubs, is broken up into particular things. And I'm highlighting audio description here because this is kind of unique as far as I've seen in streaming apps. Audio description can be really helpful for someone who has visual impairment. You see that it even goes all the way into an A to Z listing for audio in description. It's not going to have every single thing that Hulu carries, but it does have more stuff than a lot of apps do. The entertainment section here is just little quick shortcuts into the specific brands here. Like you're looking at Adult Swim here. But Hulu has access to programming from tons and tons of networks, even without having, say, the live TV. That's important to note because some things you see when you search the Hulu says, available with live TV. That's a completely different service. All we're taking a look at here is the regular Hulu on-demand service. But you see there is a lot just on this. Now, you're not going to find every single AMC series or anything, from every network. But there is a lot there to take a look at. These network sections don't have every single show that you're going to find on the network, but it has a lot of the big hits. Just want to make sure you're keeping up with them as you go because you don't necessarily get the entire series from way back when. Looking at the movie section, you'll see that they still break things down into little subgenres here, which is nice. In fact, I think this is a whole lot easier to cycle through than what they used to do, which was white lettering on the top of the screen, with a lot of different kind of competing rows for your eyes to get caught up on. By having something basic like that, I think it makes it easier to see. You see the section for you, that's going to be based on stuff that you have watched. For instance, I've watched Too Funny to Fail and some of this stuff. Not everything, but it's trying to use those sorts of algorithms to say, we think you would like this, we think you would like that. And you see that it breaks things down into different sections, like Netflix. I mean, this is a very standard sort of feel. But it still does some fun subcategories, like we've got 80s binge here. So rom-coms and so on, you see that, if you're jumping into movies, it's going to set it up for you so you might be able to just jump to one section or another and find what it is that you're looking for. TV shows is the same sort of thing. It's pretty uniform here. An A to Z listing has all kinds of categories. I haven't counted them, but it goes on and on for quite a while. You see it has a whole section just for cooking and food, and it just breaks it out real easy for you. You'll notice that the little subsections are pretty easy to read because they're just black and green blocks. Though it would be kind of cool if they were more centered. But just like the movies, you have different sections based on, little subgenres. Again, this is pretty familiar stuff to anybody who's ever used a streaming app before. In fact, Hulu did this kind of thing, but what they're doing on this app, and you'll notice, is there's a whole lot less drop-down menus. The old app, the last app, it was kind of everything you chose changed a whole nother drop-down menu. It kept changing the whole look of the screen. We're going to add something to our stuff, and we'll show you how that works in just a second, but we're adding things to my stuff so that we can get to it later. That's what keeps things kind of in place for you. So like when you look under my stuff in TV shows, these are things that I've saved over time so that I could go back and look at them. Some things I haven't even started, some things I'm all caught up on, see? It does that if you've watched every single episode of something so that you know there's nothing new to see here, right? As you go along, though, you can see how many episodes you haven't watched. And I like that. So you can know how much you've got to catch up on. Obviously, when you haven't even started watching anything, you've only got everything that's there. But, it's cool when you're like, hey, I'm, 3 episodes away from finishing a series. You see, my stuff is broken into TV shows and movies, so anything that you've put aside to take a look at later is sitting in here. So that's really cool. And you'll see it's got an expiring section, which is great, because, nothing's worse than when you thought you were going to be able to watch something and you come back and you go, oh, it's gone already. But this network section, I think it's a little glitchy, because we've tried to add things to the network section through our different hubs. I'll show you what I mean. Like we're going to go into TV shows and just add the first network on the list. It has a section that says add to my stuff, right? And we'll add a couple things, just A, B, C. But then when we go back to my stuff and jump into networks, there's still nothing there. So we then will try to go back and try to maybe add a show from a network and see if that fixes something. And so down here we'll go back into A and E and add something from A and E and see if that gives us a network setting. So we'll choose the first 48 because it's the first thing there, and we'll say add to my stuff. It's in there, it realizes it. But when we go back to my stuff again, go into networks, still not there. So I don't know if that means that they haven't activated this or if it's just glitchy today, but whatever it is, it's not there. Let's see if first 48 is even added this way. So it's not even in the TV shows. Unless it's a movie. Apparently not. So, hopefully that doesn't mean that expiring isn't working also. I guess I can't tell until I try to go to something and it isn't there anymore. But that is what that looks like. And so the My Stuff section is kind of more simple and more organized, but not fully functional just yet. The basic home screen, you'll notice, it's a different look. You've got you've got smaller blocks and bigger blocks so they can sort of highlight certain things. For all I know, these companies are paying for maybe the bigger placement. But whatever it's doing, it makes it visually interesting without it being too distracting. That's really how I felt about the old app. When I first saw it, I thought, oh my gosh, people aren't going to be able to find anything because they're going to be intimidated by the look. And I think a lot of people got used to it because I've already seen people complaining about this look. But, oh well. Now, why it's having trouble loading that right now, I can't tell you. That might just be a server thing. Might be a lot of people trying to get in on the action right now. But, can't help you there. But I do like the keep watching section. This was always one of my favorite sections in the old Hulu because you can find out, anything that you've been keeping up with. You jump back in. You keep watching a show you've been watching. But that's the look of Hulu right now. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please share this with your friends. As always, please subscribe, keep it growing, and I'm Ryan Downey, the streaming advisor. Stream on, my friends.